Never tell me the
for
odds.
SSG.
Is what I would be saying if I'm them. We saw a bit of a comeback from SSG on Ascent, but this is a step beyond what we should be expecting from them, it's fair to say. 1-14 Insky, who played Viper in the Icebox game against Sentinels a couple of days ago in their opening match. Didn't really have much impact, but on the Omen, he's been pretty good. It's just a blip. He's not been able to keep up to a tempo that Sentinels have very much been drumming. Now, Zoms, I've got to say as well, whilst we have a second, Zoms' paranoias have been exceptional across today. They just line up perfectly. There's a good understanding of that, and whilst a lot of Control players have opted to play a bit more Brimstone, Zoms is sticking with the Old Faithful. Nice little bait away to see if he can get anybody to look in a different direction. It's not going to quite work, but he's still good for one before Profi can take him out with the Vandal 4v4.
Sinatra on the box. Not a position most players play too often. Still going to have a look inside. Sick playing with the Bucky. Did see if this finds some value. Ooh, and Profi doesn't really cross the street there. Pick that does go back into Sentinel's favor. Does get traded here by Roka. Dapper with the Ares will back away. Still a 3v3. Still doable on either side, but this is
30 seconds left.
this is tournament life for SSG. Sentinels have a map. They've got 10 rounds. They're very comfortable. Win or lose this round.
Spike
Spacestation
planted.
have a lot of work to do. Catch up. Spike, of course, now planted Shazam. Alongside Dapper pushing up. On the opposite side, Sick now has to make a move because Dapper's down. Roka will find that one. And I think they saw Shazam there at the last possible second, at least the barrel of the weapon. And now it's all down to Sick with the Bucky, and this is very, very difficult to pull out. Don't think he's going to find a lot of success. Maybe just looking for exits here, but
Yeah. I mean, it was a bonus round. You even had Shazam still on the Bulldog. ADS in the whole time, treating it almost like its own sniper rifle with the burst fire. It's interesting to know, but yeah, the expectations of Sentinel set themselves with this map, this round even, was not always going to be high. In fact, Sick is going to be going in to see if he can pick up a gun. He can get a Vandal for free. The economy for Sentinels going into this round, potential last round, is going to be good. Even Shazam picking up the attacking off. Shazam with the Odin, Sinatra with the Odin even. The disrespect. He's just going to mow down Garage, isn't he?
I wouldn't consider that disrespect. I wouldn't consider that disrespect.
Or he's going to fire on mids, yeah, through...
He's gotten picks from it before, and not to mention, if you're gonna play Odin on Haven, that's where you're gonna play anyways. If he was playing long with the Odin, I'd give it to you. But Shazam, early engagement doesn't quite go his way. Has to use the tailwind to get the safety. Zom's in a very aggressive position down the sewer side, and it's unfortunate because now that he gets spotted out, that's still a lot of ground that he's able to hold. And SSG have to play a little bit carefully. Gonna be the first that pushes forward. Zom's a little antsy, has to deal with that decision of him swinging. He'll be taken down and out to 4v5 for the remainder of this round.
The Odin mowing through onto the sort of low ground. I think that actually did a bit of damage there. That's what it came onto. I got baited a little bit by the scoreboard because I thought it was an Odin on attack when it isn't, of course. Sinatra still in mid with the Odin, is going to be just holding on to see if anybody lurks. Seth is considering it, but not quite. It's a C execute. Sick knows it's coming with a lot of information, but Insky fully flashed, still gets the headshot. Dapper has a nice angle, but the updraft is going to at least give up his position. And things not really going that well. He's looking big forwards from SSG until Shazam gets that kill first.
Sinatra and Shazam. Sinatra just trying to spray through the double box. Unfortunate that Lucio is holding a little bit of a different angle from that box, and he's actually going to get the safety there. So now as they start to push in, there are a couple of injured members for SSG, but this should be around for SSG until something like that happens. Sinatra will fall, and now it should be quite in the pocket, but Shazam something for Trophy Shot's going to be
Oh.
unfortunately not good. Down to 7. I think it did connect onto him through the box there, but
Yeah.
he does get that frag and pick up the op.
Boostio is going to take that up and use it for himself. Little life from SSG. Still need to win 8 rounds in a row. And then Ika from Sentinels, actually, who can buy up half and still afford full for the next round. Bladestorm is good from Shazam. And unfortunate from SSG that Profi ended up using the Hunter's Fury right there at the end. Possibly unnecessary. But they really can't take any chances when they're on match point like this.
At least they've got a little bit of breathing room this round. It's an eco round for Sentinels, or off by most importantly. Unfortunate that Zam does get spotted, does get tagged, and the Bladestorm's gonna have to reposition. Had to use the defensive tailwind to get out of there, and Profi's got a lot of space here.
Neutralized.
Finds the pick. Sick just waiting for them to test him in the garage, but with Profi wrapping around, Sick's got to be a little bit careful. Can't really play the Bucky any longer.
Insky was predicting that he'd be there, though. Yeah. First pet shot from him. He's starting to rack up a few more kills than he did in the previous half, at least. The Sentinels, if they can get some damage in, some economy broken, but you can tell from Dapper's expression, I suppose, that it was always going to be a bit of a... Yeah. I mean, he's having a good time. You gotta give him that. I feel like he's just like, he's going, I'm gonna play on like 1000 DPI. Let's go. Let's go, team.
Yeah, you could see that. He was...
Imagine if he hits that shot.
I think Sentinels are just having fun now. They know where they sit. Okay? They know where they lie. They're at match point, they're at series point. They know what's cooking. They do get the lower seed though if they win this, as will Spacestation. But for Sentinels, that means they'll be dealt a little bit more of a difficult opponent, right? Moving into the playoffs, as will Spacestation if victorious in this series. 7 rounds remain. That's what SSG need. If you're an SSG fan, 7 rounds in a row.
The buy is still fine though for Sentinels. The operator in the hands of Shazam, who's been able to do so much with it over the course of the day. Zoms, we saw him playing from this spot against NRG, would rack up a few multi-kills from it too, but it's the first time that he's used it up against SSG. Profi is toying with the idea and picking onto Shazam, but right now it's a culmination of SSG players over on A lobby. Recon Dart is more likely going to be a bait to see if they can force Sentinels to rotate over, because there's no follow-up really at this point. It's dropping. It's possibly going to force Soms off this angle. Now he instantly destroys it. It forces out an Aldron from Profi in mid at least. The Sentinels not really shown too much yet.
Shadows traveling.
See Spacestation also playing very careful, taking it a lot more seriously, I think, than the Sentinels are.
Have to.
They have no choice. Smoke comes down. Dapper sees a lot of that action come through. Isn't going to be tagged here. There's not a lot of time left. 10 seconds remaining.
10 seconds left.
And if they don't get the spike down, they're going to be in big trouble. Dapper playing on the opposite side. All they need to do is swing and find the frags. But Roka's playing contact. That's the spike down now. So they got it down. Tags come through. All Dapper's doing is just trying to survive. First shot's going to come easy. Almost finds the conversion. But it's SSG. They'll secure themselves another round. 4 remain. I thought that would have been a little bit bloodier, but Sentinels back down to the eco position.
Roka getting a couple of kills to open it. Profi It's been very dominant towards Sentinels, but he's still at least near enough getting 20 kills. He has been a solid pickup for them. Great stuff, but it's still a tough old game against the old Sentinels, who are half bind with stingers. They have ultimates to maybe make light work of this. Their 50 rounds are always scary, but I think SSG, when they're back to the wall, a bit more deliberate with how they execute onto stuff, they tend to be a lot more consistent and much stronger.
Shot that.
Dapper's not playing behind the box. This one, playing a little bit closer, almost gets his head cut off. Back away, did shoulder peek the long side. We do have Zoms playing towards A long, so he's gonna feel a little bit of a strong SSG force as they're slowly starting to consider the opportunity of pushing down that side. They haven't really looked there. They're gonna have to use some utility to push forward, so the result
Right here.
can't really afford that. They already have used a lot towards the C side, so far we just have Sinatra, Sick, and Dapper waiting on the site.
30 seconds
Obviously with
left.
Stingers,
Nowhere
don't
to
really have
run.
the best economic weaponry. Here comes the Hunter Street. Sick does get tagged. He's got to dodge it as much as he can, but he does eventually get taken out by a Boostio while Flash manages to find Dapper. Sinatra's got Hunter's Fury of his
10
own. This
seconds
shot there
left.
from Boostio still has the Blade Storm available. Shock Dart comes in. It does find him. That's op down, but
Last
3v2.
player standing.
Spike is down, know where Roka is, and Sinatra,
Cage 3.
he's all on his lonesome now.
Has to ace if he wants to win this round. Stinger and a dream. Two-pronged attack there from Profi and Seth. It's not good enough, and SSG, can they do it? It would be very interesting to see them try. Sentinels are thinking not again after all of the games that they've had. Just one more round. Praying for it. And they have a full buy, 3 ultimates, an operator in Shazam's hands going up against Boostio, who is almost caught up when it comes to the kills that Shazam and Boostio have been racking together. It's been strange. Sentinels have been very odd to watch today.
Yes.
To see a bit more of them.
Yes. One way of saying it, I'll tell you that. That's one way of saying it.
Weird all day.
Sentinels are a weird team, okay? It's a weird team. An exciting team. Definitely a very unique play style. Shazam looking down towards alongside. Owldrone's going to spot him out here. There he is. Shot's going to connect. He's still waiting for a player to cross, but Boostio wants to try his hand. Shot's going to be good. Yep, he inched a little bit too slow. They'll pick that off back up. And wow, through the Lear, tries to take that shot. Doesn't quite connect. Broca will take him down. That's an op picked up, but already look at Dapper and Sick. It's unfortunate that the Neural Theft has spotted them out. Profi trying to use that op, tries to come back, but they're already gone. Dapper is playing a little bit on the opposite angle there. They're going to back away now. A good attempt, but they're pinched in. Can't really go towards the C site now. And as a result, you're seeing Sen wrap back around to the A site.
The shadows available from Zoms, who's on
30
this
seconds
angle. He
left.
gets the kill onto the spike, so it's a 3 versus 3, but he doesn't expect Profi to be there from A long.
One
Sig's
enemy
able to get a
remaining.
few more. And now a 1 versus 1. Sinatra
Defenders
wins
win.
it. He puts it to
I'm
bed.
not tired. Are you?
SSG are out of the Winter Championship.
A tough loss for them, a tough pill to swallow if you're a Space Station gaming fan. Sentinels, they came to play on that Haven map. Now, Ascent was definitely a lot more competitive, definitely could have gone down to the wire. Or sorry, rather, Ascent was the one that went down to the wire. That was a map that Space Station were just trying to slowly inch their way forward, just couldn't quite make it. Now we see Sentinels are victorious in a 2-0 fashion. Now, moving into Haven, I think it's something that I think we might have been able to expect, at least, especially with the performance from earlier in the tournament. But now I think for Space Station Gaming, the next step really is to just prepare for VCT. You know, the first Challengers event, that's where it's really going to be put to the test. Yes, there's more to come, but if you can make a big splash at the first one, you can really redeem yourself for the start to the year.
Yeah, it's a better performance, I suppose, than they had in Complexity Nerd Street Gamers tournament where they went 0-2 out in their groups. And here we can sort of see how this has gone for Sentinels. It's been a tiring all day for them. A much more solid performance. Haven was much more to the expectations that we had for them. There were some good moments for SSG to make some good plays, but I do feel that in comparison to what we've seen from them in the past, it was lacking a little. It's just making sure that that talent that we know that they have can be used on a much more consistent basis instead of feeling like lightning in a bottle.
This was a very strange series, more so just a strange Haven map. But outside of that, we saw a very competitive series. On Ascent, did go to triple overtime. But looking at this map, that first half was much more dominant than what we saw the first time around for Sentinels. 10-2 for the finish of that first half, and then of course Sentinels won. The pistol converted, and they were sitting at match point for quite some time before Sentinels got a few rounds under their belt. But you know, a couple of the players that I want to keep my eye on are definitely Profi and Insky. They had a spectacular performance, you know, I think all things considered for their roster, and I expect to see them kind of glow up with the team more. Definitely putting in some better numbers. Boostio had a little bit of a better game on Haven, just need a little bit more work in the hyperbolic time chamber. Now we get to see who moves on in Group D. It's NRG taking the high seed, and Sentinels taking the low seed.
Not quite sure who they're going to be playing up. Still waiting for that information, so I'm very excited. Like, whoever tops their group is going to have to play Sentinels, which never is a nice feeling, I suppose, going into it.
Yeah.
But we saw NRG qualify today earlier on. BBG and Ambox were the other two teams to qualify out of Group A. But we still have a little bit more to see. Envy versus Xset in Group C. Loser would play
Ooh, man.
Luminosity. That's a scary group. And of course,
Yes.
Group D, we did see the introduction to their latest player, Sonny, and he was amazing. It's nice to see an NA breach that's as solid as he was, and on like 160 ping, whatever the heck it was, going up against Equinox. And they have had a good run of form recently, 4th place in the Complexity tournament, and the loser of that game will play up against Ghost. Recently, Project, or Mamba Mode Gaming as they were. You would expect that Nox and C9 should be going through in that group, but you never know at this point. We've seen plenty of surprises already today, and they are looking to continue.
Yes, they are. And of course, before we throw things to a quick break, this would not be possible without our sponsors. And of course, one of those sponsors is Nerd Street Gamers. They were the ones that put this all together. And of course, they've got some phenomenal merchandise for sale online. You can check that out at nerdstreetgamers.com. Wearing their merch has ultimately made me a better gamer. It's going to make you a better gamer. There's hoodies, there's tanks, there's t-shirts. Anything you want and more, head on over to nerdstreetgamers.com to pick up your merch today if you want to support these tournaments and see more around the corner. And so with that, ladies and gentlemen, Avril and I Hold Shift will carry you guys on forward up against Envy and Xset later on after the break. We'll carry on that match and carry on the rest of the best of threes of the day. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. You don't want to miss the next best of three after the break.
I feel like I need to defend my scene's honor here, because this is just turning into a bit of a dog battle.
Like in groups always look.
I'm
TSM,
cutting
they
you
always
off
look
here. I'm cutting you off.
lackluster.
Cutting you off. He said
They
G2's
are
winning it.
playoff-
He said G2's winning it.
We need to wait till the next EU tournament, which could be in about 10 years now.
Take it with like a grain of salt.
No,
but
that's
that
no
being
fun.
said,
Take it super literally.
Spike defused.
It's kind of like 1 minute you're a sales rep, next minute you're a soldier. My name is Diva Williams. I'm a sales rep at an Xfinity store in Tacoma, Washington. I'm currently activated to help out with COVID-19. My unit was activated to come out and work at all the food banks. Comcast has been beyond supportive. As soon as I got my orders, they said, tomorrow you're a soldier, and those duties come first. It's really important that we get to see the change that we're making in our communities.
Just call them Todd Howard and Bethesda re-releasing Skyrim again. I think I hear an execute coming in, so I'm...
Oh no. I need to quarantine?
Getting shut in is no joke. Do your part. Shut Rona out for good.
Job. Why don't you touch base on what your other job is?
I am a esports broadcasting professor at St. Clair College in Windsor, Ontario.
This stuff, makes me mad. And if there's clowns out there that are paying $10,000 for cheats, stop it. Like, if you get to the point in your life where you're paying somebody $10,000 to code cheats in a video game, you are an idiot.
So I think we need to wait till the next EU tournament, which could be in about 10 years now.
take it with like a grain of salt.
No,
but
that's
that
no
being
fun.
said,
Take it super literally. Go all in. I'm cutting you off here. I'm cutting you off. Cutting you off. He said G2's winning it. He said G2's winning it.
Here, and we do have a view of the river, though.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Nerd Street Gamers Winter Championships. I hold Shiv with me, my partner in crime, Avril, all the way. It's actually not even winter for you from Australia.
Nope.
It's like middle of the summer. So we had a really hot series in the first point, but I know you're feeling the heat for more than one reason back there.
Yeah, don't be surprised I'm only wearing one layer here. I got no sweaters on. I might be sweating for this matchup. I'm sure both the teams will be as well as we head into what is going to be our winners finals here in just a moment to decide who our #1 seeded team is. But yeah, look, this entire tournament's been heating up so far. It might be the Winter Championship, certainly winter for you guys in the Northern Hemisphere, but here in the Southern Hemisphere, it is definitely quite sweaty.
Yeah, I'm nice and bundled up here, man. I'm not going to lie. It's been a little chilly over in my neck of the woods for the last couple of weeks. So I will be absolutely jealous that you get to cast this one with just a t-shirt going on. But again, there has been a lot of action coming through. But as we transition our focus over to Group C, like you mentioned, we're trying to determine who comes out as the overall #1 seed from the group. And we've got a really interesting matchup here. XSET going up against Envy. I think a couple of weeks ago, if you were to say that this was a matchup, people would have just dismissed it and said, oh, Envy's got this no problem. But you know, you take a look at how things have fared so far, and well, I mean, it's just been really kind of surprising because XSET's coming off of a very hot tournament that they played in the Complexity event, and Envy is actually coming off of some, I would say, marginally disappointing performances, both with the JBL Quantum Cup as well as most recently and most importantly those First Strike finals from about a month ago.
I think Envy are still looking very hot this tournament though. This is a particular group where we're not really surprised so far. Envy and XSET here, only two up the bracket here in this GSL group. Some highlights coming up of how both teams have performed, and you know, really in Group C so far, I would say that probably 2D are a little out of their depth. The first team that have been eliminated. 2D are coming up in terms of teams that kind of look good across tier 2, but are still not really even maybe consider a favorite within the tier 2 teams yet. They still have to, you know, get past the Luminosities, which they've unfortunately not been able to. That was actually quite a close game, the elimination matchup in Group C as well. XSET, like you sort of mentioned, very good in the last tournament that we saw just about a week ago in the NSG Complexity Invitational as well. So XSET and BBG, who are all the way over in Group A, are the two finalists from that particular tournament, and both have honestly looked very, very good. So this is the kind of tournament and matchup now between Envy and XSET where really it is the top two teams that we expected to be here, and really I think Envy probably still have a bit of an edge here, but XSET have a lot to prove, and I'm excited to see what they can do.
Yeah, I think the one that we were kind of talking about it before we got into camera was the fact that for Envy, I think the expectations going into this tournament that you have to place well. I mean, grand finals I think should be an expectation for Envy, try to bounce back after, like we mentioned, a couple of rougher performances. But for this XSET squad, this has been really, I think, fun to watch for a number of teams that have played up against these guys in the last couple of months, really. But also just for BCJ, who comes in and takes Brando's spot just with the Complexity event. Obviously, they do very well during that event, only dropping a single map, and that was in the grand finals versus Built by Gamers. But even in their opening matchup versus Luminosity, they come off of a 13-2 dominating win on Haven, and then a pretty tight split. But to be fair, I mean, you look down the line and you kind of are seeing like why this XSET team is doing well. You've got a number of very big pop-off players that can individually take over a game. Maybe none arguably more than Pure R, who really, let's be honest, has kind of solo ran with Jet all the way through this run since he's really been on the XSET team. But on the other team, of course, you've got Envy, and well, you know what to expect there with that set group of 5.
We talk about Pura here coming through on the Jet. He's going to have to go up against Mummy, who will be playing mainly Jet here as well, except for when he decides to bring out the Omen sniping on, I believe, Bind is the only map that's going to come through for that one. But yeah, we are going to be moving over towards Haven as map #1 here in terms of how the picks and bans kind of came on through. Envy did ban Icebox, XSET did ban Ascent, and you know, we talked about this off screen, but so far, I do believe that in this particular group or Group C, none of these teams will be wanting to play Icebox today. So I don't believe we'll see a single Icebox group. XSET so far have not played Ascent for the longest of times. I actually don't remember when the last time they played Ascent is, and that's been their primary ban so far for the entire tournament. It is going to be Haven first picked by XSET. Envy picked Bind, and then Split will be able to decide it.
Yeah, and so for this opening map on Haven, a lot of the run that XSET went on during that Complexity event with Nerd Street Gamers, they were flawless when they played through Haven, and they played it in every single set that was a best of 3. So as we jump into this one, we'll take a look to see what is going to be coming out as far as the overall agent compositions, and it is about what is expected here. The only real major difference as far as the head-to-head lineup is the fact that you've got the Raze that's going to be played here for XSET, and of course Caboose will be rocking the Phoenix for Envy.
This, by the way, is the multiple of different ages format. Sometimes the rule goes towards Phoenix as well, which is what we're starting to see here. Envy on the defense. defense starting out. Exit on this offense, just playing a bit of defaults across the map so far. The Spike is uncommitted, looking to see maybe he can get some right over to the garage there and go.
Yeah, Food is there to try to contest. Hasn't really given away his position too much as BCJ